During our review for Warcraft, I forgot to say no Leroy Jenkins 0 out of 10.
I bet there is some crafty Leroy Jenkins joke in there somewhere.
I was watching for it.
I'll Google it. There's probably one in there somewhere.
Very disappointing.
Sure, for sure. Also, I forgot, did we pick our movie for this month or no?
I don't remember.
We should just do the next animated Mortal Kombat, because there's 4.
I'm gonna die.
But those ones were good.
No, I mean just in general. I don't feel good.
Yes, you are gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to dimecomicbros podcast. Spencer is here, along with me, Jacob. I'm going to die.
I like the fact that, it's like 1 in 4 episodes, you are either dead or dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting ongoing joke, because I feel like we're sick an even amount. You just are sick when we're recording.
Yes.
It's weird.
I want to die. How about that?
That's fair. Okay. I think that's all of us all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking
but
of sick.
My voice is based now.
Bass. Yes.
I actually have a man voice now.
That was very funny. It tickled.
He did that from across the room. I was not involved with that.
I was moving my Adam's apple up and down manually. You should do it. It feels funny.
Manually.
Shut up.
He can put his own dick in his mouth.
Dude, if I could, I would be a danger to society. I would be on my Sigma grind set shit. I would never look at a woman again. I'd still look at men. But, I would just, oof. I'd be dialed in. You know what else is sick, though?
You'd have all the endorphins just leveled out.
I wish.
Just constantly whatever, man.
I don't think that there's a way to make that happen. I just think that I'm not built for it.
I think if you could fit your own peen in your mouth, it would happen.
It might. You know what else is sick?
It's a news week, and I'm starting us off.
Fuck!
We got a trailer for the 4th season of The Boys. It's hitting Prime sometime next year, 2024.
It looks good.
Yeah, sure. I didn't see the 3rd season.
I was wondering how far you ended up getting.
I don't have much comment to answer this question with, but how long can the boys go on without becoming what the boys set out to poke fun at?
That's what I was about to say, is I haven't watched the 1st season of Gen V yet. It got a pretty good reception. It wasn't, super great across the board, but it seemed pretty positive. But they just announced, a Mexico spinoff, last week or something, and it's wait, what? Why? I think 4 should, hypothetically in a vacuum, 4 should probably be the end, but I feel like as long as they kill it by 5, I'll be happy. Because I think they need to do the coup very soon. Otherwise, they're going to be milking it. 3 was really good, but I feel like 3 was a bit of a repeat of 2. In some ways, at least. And it's I think we've reached peak Homelander Joker moment.
Yes.
I think we're ready to see President Homelander and just get this shit going, you know? I do have a feeling that the end of however long this goes is going to be very different from the comic. Not like the show isn't in general, but I feel like because the characters are on such different trajectories, because they're actual characters, I just have a feeling it's going to end up very different.
I don't know how the comic ends. I've literally only read the 1st volume.
Lots of stuff happens.
That's good. I'm glad.
Some babies are eaten. I do think they're going to do the baby eating thing. I'm looking forward to the baby eating thing.
I know... Oh, I might have read the 2nd volume, too, because I know the character Mother's Milk fucked a planet that one time.
He did do that one time.
Yeah.
Honestly, relatable. Have you seen how round she is?
I mean, if you could put your peen into your own head, you'd know what it feels like to fuck a planet.
I have a big head. But only one of them. It's up to you to decide which one.
I think the way that joke was structured, they could figure out which
Probably. From AIPTcomics.com, JMD Mateus to write Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin on my cock in 2024. Marvel Comics has revealed JMD Mateus will return with a new 4-issue miniseries, Shadow of the Green Goblin, coming in April. The first issue is out on April 3rd. DeMatteis is joined by artist Michael Sta. I've always been fascinated with Peter Parker's early days as Spider-Man, a time before he fully understood what it meant to be a superhero, DeMatteis shared. Shadow of the Goblin allows us to take a deep dive into young Peter's mind and emotions as he makes his way through the exhilarating and sometimes terrifying new world. We take an equally deep dive into the dysfunctional dynamic of the Osborn family, seeing how that generational pain sowed the earliest seeds of Norman's Green Goblin identity and left its traumatic imprint on Harry. If you think you know everything there is to know about Peter and the Osborns, think again. So the part of this announcement was also the fact that there was another Goblin before the Green Goblin, which I thought was like a retcon bullshit. It's actually not. There, in like one comic way the fuck back, there was like a test subject that Norman was like fucking with his shit on before he was Gobby. And it seems like that's a character that's going to be relevant. Like, he kept a guy in his basement to shoot drugs into, basically.
Cool.
Like, the fuck. DeMatteis is one of like the best all-time Spider-Man writers, so that's cool. And he's been doing a few series going back to older time periods for characters. He did that with Spider-Man last year as well for Lost Hunt, I believe it was. I read that one. It was alright, but neat. Especially with how shit-ass current Spider-Man comics are, this is probably necessary to
Yikes.
keep the character afloat.
From comicsbeat.com, DC Comics has announced the latest addition to their Black Label line of books. Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins will team up for the Batman: First Knight, a 3-issue series reimagining some of the Dark Knight's earliest cases. Here's how DC describes the Batman First Knight. The year is 1939. The world, still reeling from the horrors of the First World War, is on the brink of tipping into an even more gruesome conflict as fascism is on the march and gathering strength in America's darkest corners. Against this backdrop, a series of violent murders has begun in Gotham, and the recent emergence of the mysterious vigilante known as the Bat-Man has the power brokers of the city living in fear of institutional collapse. All of the evidence in the murder investigation defies logic. The perpetrators are all men who died in the electric chair. But when the Batman comes face to face with one of these sickening anomalies, he barely escapes with his life, throwing into question his ability to survive in a world that is brutally evolving around him. The Batman First Knight #1 of 3 is set to hit stores and digitally on Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024.
This looks super cool.
Yes.
The art looks really nice. They have the very traditional 30s Batman with the big ears.
I like the different covers for this. They look cool.
They're very old school covers. Also, I just dig the time period. It's what was that? There was the guys who did Batman the Animated Series did a short for, I think it was Batman's 80th anniversary that was set during this time period and in like the style of the Shadow or whatever. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. This is apparently kind of the vibe of Caped Crusader, the animated show that they're working on, that we've heard jack shit about for like 2 years, that is going to Prime now, some other service, because Warner Brothers is very stupid. Mm-hmm. It passes the vibe check.
Okay.
Also, who could have ever guessed another Batman book for Black Label? This has never happened before. We got new footage of the Penguin for Max. It is the newest footage since April of this year. It's like kind of a proper trailer for the Penguin. Wow. I still think this is probably my most anticipated project of next year. I wouldn't say it's like an active like excitement, but I think it's the one I have the highest expectations for and the highest chance of success. My hopes for Deadpool 3 are very high. Chance of success, 50-50, you know?
Yes.
I just feel like this is like a sure hit to be good.
Yes.
And it also passes the vibe check. Also, Penguin with an Uzi. He got the gat, you know?
Colin Farrell. He's literally me.
He is literally Colin.
From comicbook.com, James Gunn confirms Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. Spencer creamed his pants when that was announced.
I did.
And Colin and I said, okay.
The reason in particular why this is kind of cool, other than the fact that it's just a really good actor, is because he actually had... That's a zit on my leg. Owie.
I hate those. I especially hate the zits on my ass. Those are the worst.
He had tried out to be Batman and also tried out to be Superman and got declined for both. Like, he was apparently in talks to be Superman for this movie and didn't make it into the finals, but he apparently did make a very good impression. And it's just nice. It's just nice to see one of the boys winning, you know? It's like, man, I was going to be Batman and then I was going to be Superman, and shit just doesn't work. But he's really talented, and he's put in his dues with, like, various types of movies. He's just always wacky. He got some good shit up his sleeve. Also, young Lex Luthor. Yay. What are the odds they're going to be childhood besties? And we're going to go with that angle. It's like Smallville all over again.
I've never seen Smallville.
I don't know if you'd like it. I really don't know.
It's got that old school 90s vibe. We don't really know what comics do, but maybe it's 90s TV show with suits.
Yeah, it's pretty 50-50 from what I can recall. I liked a lot of it at the time because I was very obsessed with it, and a lot of it was really good, and then some of it was really... And the pink kryptonite makes him gay. Like, wow, this is a CW show.
Yep.
But, I don't know. I hope that's indicative of an interesting angle to take this character, because most of the live-action Lex Luthor interpretations have a pretty big criticism to levy against them, whether it's something that's out of character or a vibe check, or if you're Kevin Spacey, you're a pedophile, you know, stuff like that just doesn't work out great. And it's like, I don't think this is going to be necessarily like a repeat of Jesse Eisenberg, but I think it might be closer to that than people are expecting. Something smells like
Pink
billionaire criticism on my brain, you know? Just smells relevant or something. I don't know. He got that Elon Musk vibe.
Smells like pink kryptonite.
It does smell like pink kryptonite. From DC.com, speaking of pink kryptonite, Suicide Squad Dream Team. Amanda Waller recruits a new Task Force X to control the DC universe. Across the pages of Titans, Beast World, and Action Comics, Amanda Waller has been carefully developing her blueprint to seize ultimate power in the DC universe. She's literally going to be the Mother Box. This March, her plans take a major step forward with the creation of a new Task Force X with an unexpected DC superhero at the center. DC confirmed plans for Suicide Squad Dream Team, a new ongoing series written by Nicole Maines with art by Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira. The debut issue arrives at participating comic book shops and e-tailers on Tuesday, March 12th. In case you can't tell by the title, it's Dreamer, which is neat. Cool character. Weird to have a superhero in charge. They've actually been kind of building up to this for a while in terms of like Amanda Waller making some big play. This is, from what I can tell, kind of been in the works since like Infinite Frontier time. The Dawn of DC like guidebook had a whole, like, the premise of the guidebook was that Amanda Waller was making files on people and stuff, which is what she does. But it, like, the implication was that she got some big plans, and she's been she popped up in Green Arrow for a little bit. She seems to be making some big moves, big moves, but with like multiple universes at her fingertips or whatever. So I'm curious.
I don't know who Dreamer is.
She gay.
Oh.
She was the...
Probably that pink kryptonite.
That was my connection.
Yeah,
she was she started on the Supergirl TV show, and then they pulled her into the comics, and she's
like
been
the recent Supergirl TV show.
Yeah, she was an original character, and she was one of the very few good things about it.
Wow.
And then the woman who portrayed her also wrote her first story in the comics, and she's been pretty popular since, which is cool. I like it when good things happen.
Yeah,
it's nice. Also, the costume's really cool.
From DC.com, DC just revealed Batman's surprising connection to Santa Claus.
I had to include this.
I know.
It's got Dan Mora art, guy. Come on.
The issue follows Batman, Zatanna, and the Bat family's investigation of a string of holiday-themed killings, which they believe are caused by some sort of supernatural creature. The ruckus draws the connection of Santa Claus, who rides in on a reindeer to help. Santa and Batman quickly exchange pleasantries as the latter reveals that he trained under Santa during his globe-trotting quest for knowledge. While he doesn't get into the specifics, he reveals that some of Santa's tricks are things he still uses today. This revelation surprises the Bat family, who either didn't know about this connection or who, in the case of Nightwing, thought it was just a fun bit of folklore. Batman-Santa Claus: Silent Knight #1 is from Jeff Parker, Michelle Bandini, Alex Sinclair, and Pat Brosso. #1 is now available wherever comics are sold.
It's like a 4-issue miniseries, and it looks sick as shit. And Dan Moore is doing the art. It looks great. I wanted to buy it on my recent trip to the store this week, and I didn't. I resisted the urge, but I'm probably going to do it next week. This is the dumb shit that gets people into comic books. This is what kids like. I hate to be that guy. They're like, yes, I trained under Santa Claus. Like, I expect a Comic Drake video about this. You know?
Yes,
it
I
fits
will
the
watch
vibe.
that video.
Yes. Every time Santa Claus has canonically appeared in DC Comics, he is the fourth son of the Trinity or whatever. You know? I want some weird DC cosmology.
Speaking of the Batman, I almost pulled the trigger on Gargoyle of Gotham Noir because it looks so good. But
Pussy.
No, I asked Brad at Stairway. I was like, "Do you think they'll collect the Noir into like a trade or something?" He's like, "It's been selling like crazy. I'd be surprised if they didn't." It's like,
Whack.
all right, I'll wait.
Strange. From DC.com, Sinister Sons, the offspring of General Zod and Sinestro, get their own series this February.
At first, I thought that headline meant that Zod and Sinestro fucked and had kids. I was like, what is happening right now?
I'd believe it. Writer Peter J. Tomasi unforgettably captured the fun and action of young superheroes joining forces in DC's fan-favorite Super Sons series from, 2015. This February, Tomasi returns to the world of DC youth once more, this time with artist David LaFuente and the son of two of DC's most infamous supervillains in Sinister Sons. When Lord Zod, the son of General Zod, was cast off his adopted homeworld of New Kandor, he runs afoul of a kid on a mission, the son of Sinestro. Sinsen is out to prove he's got what it takes to live up to the family name of Sinestro, but all is not as it seems, and the son's journey will take them into the heart of darkness in this sensational first issue. Tomasi and LaFuente are poised to deliver one of the most dynamic debuts of a duo in the history of the DC Universe. Sinister Sons #1 arrives in participating comic book shops and e-tailers on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, featuring a main cover by Brad Walker and Andrew Hennessy. This looks really cute. It's been getting teased in the ongoing Green Lantern book. Sinestro's son has been the backup stories, and I thought that those were pretty neat. They had some fun art, and it just... I don't know. What if you were the son of one of the craziest dictators in all of the galaxy, but also he doesn't like you? I don't know. It seems interesting, and I think the teaser image is kind of cute because it parallels the classic Super Sons image. It just seems interesting. It's cool. Tomasi's a wicked good writer, so I have no doubt that this will at least be good. Also, I don't know. I've been reading about this kid. I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? He's purple. That's like Sinestro had baby. It's like, oh god. Why?
Their faces kind of look like something out of the Boondocks comic.
Kinda, yeah. This is the one you're gonna cry about.
I know. From comicbook.com, Marvel cancels new Avengers book, Avengers Incorporated, will be ending after only 5 issues. Marvel's latest Avengers book has already met its untimely end. In a recent post to Substack newsletter, Marvel Comics executive editor Tom Brevoort revealed that Avengers Incorporated will be ending with its upcoming 5th issue. The book, which follows Janet Van Dyne, known as the Wasp, and Victor Shade, only launched in September of this year. According to Brevoort, the sales were not enough to keep the book going. Unfortunately, there weren't enough like you, so we will be wrapping up the series with issue number 5, Brevoort said in response to a fan question about the future of Avengers Inc. Oh well.
Rip.
It looks good. The story is very, very strange. I don't know where in the timeline it is. It's not making much sense. They do a fun little murder investigation, and
I did really like that issue that you lent me. 3. That ties in with Immortal Thor a little bit. That was nice.
It's kind of annoying because it's going really hard trying to reference Immortal Thor, and Immortal Thor is going really hard trying to reference this at the same time. It's like, stop it. You can't use the sales of Immortal Thor to keep your run going.
Al Ewing be like that.
Yeah, it's annoying. It should be able to stand on its own.
Yeah, good luck. From Marvel.com, Johnny Blaze takes his final ride, I'm sure, in new Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #1. This March, a new Ghost Rider will set the roads of the Marvel Universe ablaze in Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. Continuing Benjamin Percy's acclaimed and thought-provoking work on the Ghost Rider mythos, the new series will see the spirit of vengeance fall into the wrong hands, and fans won't believe who it is. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. Now, Johnny Blaze must embark on an epic quest to become Ghost Rider again before the newly possessed uses its demonic power for a dark purpose. Joining Percy on his latest hell ride will be Marvel newcomer Danny Kim, known for his work on last month's Ghost Rider Annual #1. Fans will have to wait to find out who the new Ghost Rider is, but in the meantime, see Johnny Blaze enjoy his last moments as the iconic Flamehead in Greg Capullo's cover for Final Vengeance #1, on sale March 13th. So we talked about this, I think, last month when it was announced that there would be a new Ghost Rider run. It now has a subtitle, which is fine or whatever, but there's like actual substantial information about it. I'm pretty confident I know which character is getting it. The thing that's kind of disappointing for me, not to be rude, but I don't really like Kim's art. I didn't like the annual issue that much. It was kind of disappointing. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this. I think it sounds interesting with where the current run has been going. I'm pretty confident I understand the trajectory, and I think that's cool. Also, there was a weird time period during the 80s or 90s where Johnny Blaze did not have the Spirit of Vengeance, but he had a Hell Shotgun, which was fun. And he'd hang out with Ghost Rider, and that was neat. So maybe this is something like that, which could be interesting. Or at least having it be like asymmetrical, where Johnny Blaze does not have the Spirit of Vengeance, and he's just like going after the Ghost Rider, which is like an unsurmountable demon, is cool as a concept. But I hate when the artist announced doesn't do it for me. It feels really mean, but it just doesn't get me. It wasn't bad. I just didn't love the art.
For anybody listening that doesn't know, we do a Substack that you can subscribe to.
We do a Substack.
Every news episode, I include the script for the news in the Substack, and I usually work pretty hard to make the news script all pretty and flashy and everything, so it makes it easy for the listeners to follow along and see what words we should actually be saying while we're reading out loud, because we're not very smart, but also there's cool pictures. So for this article, I included the cover made by Greg Capullo, and it looks cool.
I don't think Greg Capullo has done a single bad piece of art in his entire life. He is one of the people I will flatly worship at the feet of.
He must have autism because of how many chains he draws in every piece. Like, there's so much chain in that picture. Like, it must have taken hours to draw every link. And he's just sitting there, I like chains. I like chains.
To be fair,
it's like you with trains.
To be fair, he is like a 55-year-old metalhead who goes to the gym, so that fits with the aesthetic.
I like chains.
I also like chains.
From comicbook.com, the Sentry's return to the Marvel Universe leads to an unsolved mysteries case. It is an exclusive from comicbook.com. And it's kind of a long one because there was kind of a big bit at the end that I wanted to include.
Holy poopy.
Jessica Jones and Misty Knight investigate unsolved mysteries involving the Sentry and a preview of the Heroes new series. Sentry has a rather unique backstory when it comes to Marvel heroes, having been introduced in the early 2000s during Marvel's resurgence in popularity. Sentry, also known as Bob Reynolds.
He's just Bob. I love
just
that.
A character out of the office. Just hey, go down to Bob Reynolds' office. Used to wield the power of 1 million exploding suns and was a member of the Avengers, but he also has a violent past when influenced by his evil side, the Void. Sentry is currently dead, but as you'll see in an exclusive preview of the Sentry #1, people across the planet have started popping up with his power set. Comicbook.com has the exclusive preview of Sentry #1 by Jason Liu, Luigi Zagaria, Arthur Hesley, and VC's Joe Carabagna. It begins with Misty Knight and Jessica Jones on site of a superhuman event, with a building leveled at and its occupants barely escaping with their lives. When pressed, the witnesses revealed their apartments were hit by laser beams, with a person crashing through the ceiling and bringing the building down. Somehow, all the residents woke up to find themselves outside the rubble. Next, a woman comes out to say that her roommate Mallory Gibbs, who has cerebral palsy, may be trapped. Jessica Jones and Misty Knight begin looking for Mallory, but find no trace of her. Misty mentions that a few days ago, satellites picked up blah, 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 blah. To end the preview, we see Mallory Gibbs tinkering with a Spider-Man pen when she starts to have flashbacks to events in centuries past, like his battle with the Hulk and the siege of Broxton, Oklahoma. Next thing Mallory knows, she soars out of her room and comes crashing down inside a laundromat. The MCU's Sentry revealed to be Steven Yeun. The Sentry is rumored to be the main villain of Thunderbolts, one of several films set to debut in the MCU. Steven Yeun has been cast in Thunderbolts, but his role has been kept a secret, at least until Robert Kirkman spoiled the news that Yeun will be playing Sentry. Glout! He called me. He went in for a costume fitting, Kirkman told David Finch while a guest on the artist's YouTube channel. I don't think this is a spoiler or anything that will get anybody in trouble. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't care. I don't work for Marvel. What are they going to do to me? He called me and said, I just came back from a costume fitting for Sentry. I guess I only do superheroes that wear yellow and blue. Steven Yeun also voices Mark Grayson, Invincible in the Prime Video adult animated series Invincible, which Kirkman is a creator on. The exclusive preview of The Sentry #1 is below. The issue goes on sale Wednesday, December 6th.
That's a lot of words.
It was a lot of words, simply for a leak.
I like the Sentry. Every story he's in is kind of repetitive, though, which is lame. The initial story was wicked cool. I don't know how much you know about this.
Nothing.
Basically, they lied. And they said, hey, we found some old drawings about this old Golden Age character that Stan Lee made, and then we're gonna... And they lied. They made a big lie, and it was really cool.
That's
so
cool.
It was like a big publicity stunt of like, we found this guy, and then in universe, everyone had forgotten about him. It was a wicked good story. The first few stories, in fact. Because he, you know... Big, strong boy, mega overpowered, but also his bad guy side is the bad guy. It's his bad guy. So like,
big lasers,
it's the void. It's like a big hole. You know, it's one of those. I'm gonna tell my bestie to kill me because I'm a big danger and stuff. So every time Bob either comes back from the dead or like is found chilling on a mountaintop somewhere or whatever, which is a bad habit to get into because he keeps getting murdered and coming back. But most of his stories are really cool. Just an interesting dichotomy, I guess. Yeah, I think everyone knew he was going to be in Thunderbolts. Anybody that gives a shit about that movie kind of saw that one coming. That was speculated for quite a while, but Robert Kirkman does have a big mouth. Well, yeah, what's Marvel going to do? Kevin Feige will personally murder you in your sleep.
He will show up at your door and shoot you in the face. Because he's actually a Terminator.
I could believe it. More like he'll send in, like...
The Pinkertons.
I was gonna say those drones from fucking Far From Home. Just like the invisible...
Pinkertons is more believable.
Yeah.
They will shoot him in the face.
They will shoot him in the face. From StarWars.com, Mace Windu will finish Qui-Gon Jinn's last mission in Star Wars The Glass Abyss.
Not the glass onion?
No, not the glass onion.
Oh.
The Glass Abyssusi. StarWars.com is excited to reveal Star Wars The Glass Abyss, a new novel coming August 6th next year from Random House Worlds. Set after the death of Qui-Gon Jinn at the hands of Darth Maul, a saddened Mace Windu finds himself thrust into an adventure upon receiving a posthumous message from Jinn. The book is a return to Star Wars for author Stephen Barnes, writer of the Star Wars Legends classic, The Kestis Deception, as well as over 30 sci-fi novels and various TV series. Star Wars The Glass Abyss arrives August 6, 2024, and is available for pre-order now. Aside from the fact that most Star Wars canon books are good, and I like them, which is cool. I like when I hear about new things. Mace Windu has not gotten a lot of attention post-Disney buyout, so I think that that's cool. Also, I found out this yesterday, I think. He's also getting an ongoing comic book. I don't think there's any connection, but he had a mini series a few years ago that was kind of mid, but it's cool to have it focus, and also I like it tying into Qui-Gon stuff. The bigger vibe, I guess, that I picked up on this was the past few book announcements have not, when it's not the High Republic stuff, they're very disconnected from each other. It's just this author doing this book. It's not like E.K. Johnson did a trilogy of books about like the handmaidens and stuff, which were all pretty good from what I can remember. Or you have like the
Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, the two Thrawn trilogies. Like a lot of them are kind of planned out as things that connect to each other. Even last year's books, Brotherhood and Padawan, while weren't directly connected, they were Padawan was referenced in Brotherhood a little bit. Like they were coordinated. It was the year of Obi-Wan, which is fine. But I find it cool that this and the last book, which is the name I don't remember, but it's the one where they're all going to go on a road trip, is just kind of disconnected from each other. Like they're related, but not like we're going to tie all our books together. It's more like we're just going to keep going back to the well of like Lamau the Jedi were fucked up and stuff, which is cool. I'm a big sucker for that shit. So I just think it's neat. This is Ultra Lord. Never mind, that's a joke you don't get. Never mind. Stupid Jimmy Neutron joke.
I thought it was a South Park thing.
No.
It sounded like a South Park voice.
No.
A few moments later.
More like I have a pee-pee, but it is so atomically dense that it then makes a black hole. So my pee-pee is a hole at the same time. Not for sounding. That was not where I was going with that. But you can fit a baguette in there. Just a whole baguette.
Speaking of sounding, did you read Immortal Thor number 5?
I did.
Whoa.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Amazing.
I know.
I think this is the best issue so far.
Yep. Okay, so moving on.
Pretty much. They do a big...
It wasn't a sex scene, though.
No, that would be... They did a big fight.
Yeah.
I actually have notes about this.
They called Torano stupid.
They did.
And he said, damn, you're right. I'm gonna go home now.
Pretty much. Yeah, so the Thor core does a big punch. And then Thor, being smarter than he used to be, does a big trick.
Yep. I'm gonna die.
I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I was like, oh no, he's gonna get the hammer. And then it's like, oh, look at the big guy in the big Thor outfit. And then it's like...
Are you worthy?
And then he fucks off.
I didn't think so.
I don't know. It
was good. I liked the twist of how they beat him.
I like that it didn't need to end up being like a 5-issue long fight.
Yep.
It was like there's some punching and stuff because you can't sell people on a bunch of Thors and not have them punch things. But like it doesn't rely on the fight to end the story. And then he does the sequel bait. Actually, it was your mom! As he blasts off into space yet again.
Yep.
Which I thought was actually... I mean, we know that because of the first issue.
Yep.
But I like that this... It actually feels like an arc is complete, but we're turning the wheel into the next arc.
Turning the page.
Well, that too. I also really like the framing of this one that was about, like, turning things. I like when Al Ewing is a smartass and uses his poetry degree or whatever, where he's like, I'm gonna philosophize all over this. And I really like the first couple pages. It's going over all the... There's always more gods. There's always a bigger fish. And it's all...
I love the headcanon that Al Ewing has a philosophy degree that he's just dying to use.
Honestly, he probably
great.
Does. He probably fucking does. The beginning of this book has, like, Latin poetry in it that there's no translation for. The first page is just like... And just expects you to know what the fuck it's talking about.
Yes.
It's so uppity. I like it. I don't know. It's cool. I also think that the panels where Thornos has the drip were really cool because it kind of merges the two not the two art styles, but the two forms of art that Cocolo's been doing. The very more traditional, like, pencil and like the regular people stuff, and then the like kind of painting-esque things he's doing with the big boys. And I like when it smushes it together. It's like, wow, he's so big, but also he's got a funny hat. But also it's big and scary, but also he has a big funny hat. Because Thor has a funny hat. And he's Thor, but old. I found a lot of comedic value in this one. I don't even know if it's intentional, but it's just like, damn, look at that big god. He's got wings on his head. He thinks he's all that. But are you, though?
I'm kind of curious to know how they used this episode to be the MacGuffin for the X-Men thing that's happening. It's like, actually, Storm needs to show up here, magically, like Ex Machina style.
I think Al Ewing might also be writing that book.
Is he really?
I don't know, but it would make sense.
All right.
He's also been pretty involved in a lot of the X-Men stuff, so it would make sense.
Weird.
I also just think Loki, but in the Thor outfit, looks great. Just the general vibes are all there. I also think this one I like this one referencing Avengers Incorporated 3 more than I appreciated Avengers Incorporated 3 referencing last issue of Immortal Thor.
Yes.
Where this one's like, oh, there's the multiple versus Immortal Thor 5 is just like Valkyrie's like, I talked to your dad. Mm-hmm. It happened over here, by the way. Mm-hmm. I thought that was neat. Also, I like her being a Valkyrie. I think that's a cool continuation of not making her becoming Thor feel like a gimmick, where like it's continued on and she's still in that world and she also still has a secret identity, but she's not stuck being Thor forever. And then Thor can just like, here, touch my handle. And then she just gets to be Thor for 5 minutes. Well, 1 minute.
Touch my hammer.
Touch my hammer. You know? I don't know. I think it's neat. Also, she just looks cool as a Valkyrie. It's neat. I kind of want to keep reading this. By kind of, I mean, I really want to keep reading it, but I need to not. I need to drop the book. Which means I have to wait until it's out in trades. It's going to take forever. It's really good. Mm-hmm. This issue 2 and 5, I gave 5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
Big fan.
2 is the Riddle one, right?
Yes. And then the other ones were 4s. Big fan. I think that these first 5 issues are better than the first 5 issues of Immortal Hulk. By a tiny margin. They're not doing the same thing, obviously, but I feel like this was better at being self-contained whilst also setting up a lot more stuff. Like, clearly there's another 45 issues coming.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel satisfied enough dropping it just for the sake of utility. Whereas Hulk was a really good first 5 issues. It was some of the best in the run, but it did feel like I should keep reading because there's so much more going on that I don't understand yet. Where this is like, honestly, no matter how they explain this, I feel like I kind of get it. For whatever reason that Thor's mommy is mad, you know, I don't care. Like, whatever big, heady, philosophical point Al Ewing is going to make, I'm sure I'm going to like it, and I'm going to be all over it. I'm going to be slobbering all over his handle. But, like, I don't know. I just feel more satisfied. It takes 5 hammers to satisfy me, apparently.
I listened to the Riddler Secrets in the Dark.
It's the Riddler, baby.
It's the sequel to Batman Unburied, probably. Kinda.
Most of the voice cast is the same, except Batman. It's not the same guy. I checked.
Really?
Yep.
It sounded like him.
That was the primary reason why I was like, oh, is it a different thing? And then it's like, no, Alfred's the same, Riddler's the same, Barbara Gordon's the same, like everything's the same except like Batman and like one other character. And it's like, well, fuck.
Interesting.
How was it?
My first note is that the voices are still fantastic. I like that it's from the Riddler's perspective and not Batman's, or just like third person perspective, I guess. It was cool to just follow Riddler everywhere. Oh my gosh, my freaking phone's falling asleep too fast. It's like me. It was kind of weird that they race swapped the Riddler. And there's a reason I'm saying this. It's very heavy-handed. It feels like it was there just to include some snide comments about the cops would probably shoot me because I'm a brown man. That's pretty much what it felt like it was just there for. There was
Weird.
no other point to it, it felt like.
Strange.
Unless I missed it.
I don't remember anything in Unburied really bringing it up. I only knew because I looked at the credits.
I mean, he throws the cops off and says, actually, there's a brown man over there that you should go shoot him instead, and they chase after him instead of
Nice.
Riddler.
Base Riddler.
But that was pretty much like all it seemed to be there for.
Weird.
Those are my non-spoiler comments.
Nice.
Spoilers. Have you not finished?
I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh. I thought you were following it weekly.
I wanted to, but I didn't because I'm stupid.
Well, shit.
No, go for it. I'm not listening.
All right, you can listen to this one. The whole show, Riddler's like, I'm so smart. And then he saves the day by telling the bad guy, you should go kill yourself.
Wait, actually?
Yes.
I love that. That's great. No. That's awesome. I feel like that should be insulting, but I really like that, actually.
Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
He doesn't say the words. He uses other words, but
You should take a long walk off a short pier.
it boils down to that. Actually, you didn't do what you were trying to do. You should die. You're right.
That's awesome. Is it an original villain? I know literally nothing about this. I saw a teaser image, I heard a voice, and went, damn, I know I'll like this, and then I just didn't get to it. I'm gonna plug my ears. I need your thoughts. I just won't listen to it.
The original villain's character name, they're not villain name, but their alias, their alias. Their human name? Their Bruce Wayne to the Batman
Yeah.
was mentioned, but wasn't much of anything, and it feels like the only thread that really didn't get closed out. I guess it could have been closed out better as being the guy Batman blames in the end, because Batman doesn't find out who was actually the villain, despite it being very, very obvious.
Was that anarchy? Did he plant 3 bombs in Gotham City?
Also, the person that is actually the villain is very clear from the start. These 2 comments and a couple other things kind of makes Batman look like a really shitty detective through this whole show. I didn't really like that. The worst was at the end. Riddler knows who the villain's secret identity is, and Batman was like, that was strange, you know something, and Riddler's like, yes. It's been obvious through the whole show.
Weird.
Very annoying.
How does it compare with
I
Unburied?
liked it a lot. I liked this one better than Unburied.
Really?
I burned through it in 2 days.
Damn.
And it's 8 episodes?
Did you enjoy the Fritos commercials the Cheetos commercials that play through the whole thing?
Yet again, I didn't have any.
The fuck?
I don't know. I don't even pay for premium.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I love it.
Weird.
Also, in the first episode, the Riddler and 2 other people get together in like a waiting room, and there's like elevator music playing in the background, and it's like really, really quiet because the characters need to talk. And that elevator music is the same elevator music that I have to listen to anytime I'm on my secret missions and I need to change an airplane ticket or a hotel room or anything. I have to call this number and get it fixed for me. And it's that repeating song and it made it so I couldn't hear what the characters were saying because all I could hear was the faint elevator music in the background. I have no idea what they said.
Stock sound effects. Oof. That's cool.
It was very distracting.
Interesting. I was thinking that it was the elevator music from Arkham Asylum because that was exactly where my brain went because I'm weird.
I don't know what that sounds like. You probably know what this song is, though. Like,
Probably.
It's used for
That's,
most hold music.
that sucks.
That's the end of my review. It's your turn.
Speaking of Batman bullshit, I read DC vs. Vampires All Out War Volume 2. It is the second half of the spin-off in-between series in the universe of DC vs. Vampires.
Which you didn't like to begin with.
That is correct. The first DC vs. Vampires book I thought was pretty good. It was a little sloppy, but it was good. Has really good art. Sadly, done by Otto Schmidt. Piece of shit. So that's lame. DC vs. Vampires 2 was bad. Did not like. Also had good art. Also by Otto Schmidt. All Out War Volume 1 was not great. Very choppy. Cool characters and cool, like, a collection of characters. It's like the DC Deceased Unkillables book to the Deceased book, if that makes sense. It's like a weird collection of anti-heroes and bad guys and shit, and that's cool. But a hell of a lot of these characters are written out of character, which isn't good. It just comes across as sloppy. I think it's primarily written by Matthew Rosenberg, who I do quite like, so I don't know what's going on with these books. I don't know if he's overwhelmed or whatever. There are a lot of Wildstorm characters that are very prevalent in these books, which is cool because that seems to be like his realm in the DC lineup right now of books. He's writing like the Grifter book and the like the Wildstorm book, like whatever. Like he's dealing with those characters for a while now, and that's cool. So I get that. Like that's what the world he's working with. So it makes sense that he'd want to write them into this a lot, which is cool. But yeah, like this just continues what was happening before. They're going on some stupid suicide mission to save someone by putting them in a Lazarus pit. It just kind of wraps up what the last book was doing. I really don't like that they broke this up into 2 hardcovers that cost $25. It's fucking stupid. There's a lot of, I would consider it like a romp type adventure, which is neat. It wasn't boring. It wasn't not fun, but just half the time I didn't know what character was saying what dialogue because they all kind of talk the same, even though they should all be written with dramatically different characters in mind. Like, it's like Azrael and Deathstroke and Constantine and like Supergirl. It's a really weird lineup, and that's cool, but a lot of them are written very similarly, and because same complaint that I had with the previous book, I think that the art was not designed to be finished in black, white, and red. I think it was intended to be colored, and I just think that they chose to do that in post for whatever reason, and it makes it it makes the type of art harder to follow because I just don't think the art style suits being done without color. So it's a little tricky to follow. It was a little bit more coherent than the first few issues of this run, which was cool. It doesn't actually wrap anything up, which is lame. Big blue ball syndrome. There were multiple backup stories as well. There was a Black Lightning story that happens during like the initial outbreak of the vampire virus, which I thought was fan-fucking-tastic. The creative team for that was entirely different, but it was really good. It was only a few pages. It was just, I gotta get home to my wife and kids because I love my wife and kids, and then they're not here. Oh no, and that's fine. That was really good. There's also a one-shot at the end that follows Harley Quinn because she's like the queen of the underworld now or whatever, and I fucking hated it. It was abysmal. The art was atrocious. I couldn't look at it very much. Everyone was written even more out of character, and it was very gross in Harley's direction. I get it's a book about vampires, and it's supposed to be dumb and silly, which...
Are you saying characters were thirsty for Harley?
I mean that the writer and the artist were really into, like, what if we made Harley Quinn a bimbo? And while I'm not opposed to having bimbo characters, Harley Quinn is not a bimbo, and she hasn't been a bimbo in a long time.
Don't yell at me, I was making a vampire joke.
I don't like it. It was weird. Especially because, again, she's like the queen of the underworld and all of the bad people listen to her. So why the fuck is the camera not the camera literally, but like the way the panels are being drawn and the characters being written to be like, oh no, I'm just walking down the street and my fat ass is bumping into trash cans. Like, it's really lowbrow, and I did not like it at all. Like, I could barely finish it. So that was really fucking weird. It just felt super out of place. Yeah, $25. I did get it off of Amazon for like $18, which was better. I am, again, not reading this story again. Like, probably any of this. I would read the Black Lightning story again, because I did think that was genuinely very good. So, this universe is not doing well. For Deceased being almost 5 out of 5s across the board, DC versus Vampires is like... I think the first one I gave a 4 out of 5, and then both All Out War and Vampires 2 were... all 3 of them were 2 out of 5s. It's not doing well right now, which is a shame, because vampires are cool, and it's fun, and a lot of the art's really good, but this just generally feels really sloppy, which is disappointing, because it has the potential to be really good, but I feel like they're just going to milk this one even more than they kind of milked Deceased, especially now that Deceased is officially over, and Tom Taylor is moving on to other things. I feel like DC wants to put a lot of eggs in this basket, and I don't think that's a good idea, because I just don't think it's being given enough effort behind the scenes to warrant that level of dedication. Which is a shame, because the covers are fucking bops. Like, the covers for these books are fucking amazing. Talented people are involved. It's not like it's all dog shit. It seems like something that somebody whipped up over a weekend and then didn't do a second pass on. Fat L.
I read Batman City of Madness number 1 and 2.
Gasp! Amazing.
It's written by Christian Ward. It's very strange.
It's also arted by Christian Ward.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This is what I expected you to say about it, to be fair. I had no clue if you were going to be into this or not.
It's very weird. It's very hard to follow. I did not do myself a favor with the second issue, because I was listening to a band that normally does metal, and like, he has a weird screaming technique, but this CD that I was listening to changes metal into like club music, and it was most of the songs were from my favorite CD by this band, so it was breaking my brain listening to club music and yet metal, and also reading City of Madness too, because it's the strangest, weirdest shit. I just felt like I was in a Twilight Zone, like, weird.
To be fair, I think that's the vibe it's going for.
Yeah,
so let's cut that down.
It was trippy.
Does Batman indeed have tentacles coming out of his face? Maybe.
Sort of.
Tentacles?
Kind of.
Hallucination tentacles.
No.
Oh. Does he turn into a squid kaiju? That's what's coming next issue.
Have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean 2, where the captain has the tentacles that move when he talks?
Yeah, the best CG created character of all time. Yeah. Most convincing? Yeah.
I think you're confusing him for Timon and Pumbaa.
Yes, Timon and Pumbaa from the live-action Lion King. Absolutely.
I didn't see that, actually.
Don't do it! It's so worthless.
Court of Owls is involved, and I think it was the second issue, they were like, we don't know how to fix this, so instead of working against you, because that's what we're here for, we're going to ask for your help. There's a guy named Talon. He seems to be a recurring character, but I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
He's like their guy.
He's the head owl, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's the guy with the talon on his fingy. He's the pokey boy.
Oh.
He's the guy who's like, caca, the Court of Owls has sentenced you to die, bitch. It's that guy.
The twist in the story felt like the explanation for metal. And I was a little like, oh, that's it?
There's magic metal in them hills.
No. Do you know this map? Well, turn it over.
Holy fucking shit! Is it because there's a city underneath the city? Is that what you're talking about? Wow. Yep. I love that shit. It's so stupid, but I love it.
It's being used again.
But what if there was a bigger underground city
What if-
with bad people in it.
As above, so below.
I love that.
I still don't know how that's satanic symbology, but apparently it is.
Don't fucking look at me, man.
You know all the sussy signs.
Yes. Whatever you say.
We're trying to figure out sussy hand signals, and it's not working.
2 in the pink,
We
1
are
in the stink.
we
Got
are
it.
both virgins. Anyway, this is weird and cool, and it's fun, and it felt like there's a lot more to do, but there's only one issue left, so I don't know.
Weird.
The artwork's cool. It's very cloudy. It's very not defined, undefined.
I think he does watercolors and then he draws over them.
That makes sense.
I'm reading Andromeda right now, and that seems to be kind of how he does his art, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's super fucking weird.
It looked really cool in Andromeda. It's a little out of place in this one, I guess.
Too many LSDs.
No, this isn't Tradmore.
Yeah, that's LSD.
That's too many.
Okay,
LSDs.
too much acid.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that the same thing?
I don't know.
Comment below, is LSD acid? We need to know and we're too scared to Google it.
Back to a minute ago where we're both virgins.
Yeah. Wait. Okay, whatever you say, boss.
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm excited for the third one. Wow.
I think Black Label has kind of officially dropped all of their books to 3 issues now, which I think they're all getting bigger. Like, the issues are getting bigger, but the past, 5 announcements have all been 3-issue books. From what I can remember, anyways. I think that might have to do with them delineating Elseworlds and Black Label separate, and they're like, all of the, I'm a big brain artist and I want to do my own shit. I say that positively, is all the Black Label stuff. And they're like, you get 3 issues. Make them big, fat, chunky boys. Which is neat. Are these in the prestige side, the big
Yes.
chunk? Oh, big chunk! That's hot. You know what else is hot?
Whiskey.
The boys hanging out in a swamp with a truck. I read Off-Road by Sean Murphy.
I thought for sure you were going to say you watched Duck Dynasty.
I would rather watch, the animated Barbie bullshit movies made for 4-year-olds. I'd rather watch My Little Pony.
That's not saying much.
I would rather watch My Little Pony.
You're My Little Pony sexual, I'm sure.
No, I'm not.
That is
That
is your favorite gender.
No, it's not! My favorite gender is Benson from Regular Show. I'm a gumball machine. Fuck you. I've been trying to track down Sean Murphy's earlier works before he got big and famous and shit, and this was his first written script, apparently, which is cool. Apparently he wrote this when he was 19, and it shows. I did enjoy it, but holy shit, this is the most I'm 19 and I'm mad at shit. Punk Rock Jesus was fucking awesome, but also had a good amount of very early leaving a religion angst to it, which is good and fine, but it definitely had a little bit of that immature stank on it, that's what I was talking about.
I know.
Which was good at that point, but it was also a much bigger book. This is just a singular graphic novel, and it's but what if our dads suck and we're gonna go in the mud? That's all of my notes.
You're gonna die. I'll punch you in the chest.
Chains! Shut up, Greg Capullo. Go back into whatever hellhole Scott Snyder has you trapped in.
He has me chained down there.
Oh my god. I believe it. Basically, there's a group of boys. They're all friends and they're in high school or college or whatever. They're your typical group of dudes. One of them is a twink and an artist, which is the self-insert character. That's literally what he is. He's I want to go to art school and I paint my nails black because I'm cool. I'm not like other boys. And then they have the fat kid who's quiet and stoic and also the best character in the book, who has a very abusive dad who punches him. And then we have the preppy rich kid, and it's like the most three dudes that just hang out. Like, what? They're not even friends with each other, but they're only friends when they hang out type thing. If that makes any sense?
Yes.
Like, they wouldn't be friends individually, but as a group, it works, which is weird. But cool, I guess. And they have some... We're gonna go take my dad's new Jeep out in the woods, and we're gonna go be men. And then they get stuck. And not much happens. They have to call the angsty, artsy kid's, like, ex-girlfriend or the girl he has a crush on or whatever to help them, and then she doesn't help them, and they go to a party, and they discover the power of friendship. This book does nothing.
After doing drugs?
No drugs.
Come on!
I think there's moderate weed, but there's no real drugs in this. This book is all vibes.
Moderate weed, not to be confused for excessive weed.
Nah, it's just like a little bit. There's, like... The art in here is really good. Sean Murphy is a fantastic artist, hands
Especially
down.
when he's doing a truck.
He does do a good truck. And he is really good at doing self-insert characters. But there's a couple of different thematic roads that I feel like this book could have really gone down, or more like side trails it could have gone down. It could have been like just a fun romp where guys go be dudes, or it could have been like, damn, look at the boys being boys, and then it's actually like,
holy shit, these guys are really fucked up and they need to talk about their stuff because they have problems and their daddies all beat them.
and it does both, and that means it does neither. So it randomly takes itself really seriously for a couple of panels where it's like, yeah, my dad hit me in the face. And it's like, damn, bro, that sucks. Anyways, and just kind of moves on from it.
It's kind of a typical the boys thing.
That's what I mean, is like, this was definitely written by a 19-year-old. I mean this very lovingly, but it is very emotionally immature. And then it'll randomly be like, I don't love her, she's a bitch. There's a lot of sexism in this book. There's a lot of sexism. There's a lot of women, they're dumb, but also I want to bone them. This was written by a 19-year-old, which, to be entirely true, I talked to Sean Murphy in person a few months ago about this book because I was curious if it was ever going to get republished. It was published, I believe, through IDW?
Sounds right.
Either IDW or Image, I don't remember. It's actually in a different format, like it's a little smaller than most graphic novels, which is cool, it's unique. And I was like, hey, this book you did, is it going to get republished? Because it's kind of hard to get a hold of. And he's like, I don't think so, bud. You know, I was young, it was a different time, this is a little sexist in there. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. You know, not everyone wants to get their shit republished, especially if they're not super proud of it anymore, which is fair. I kind of want it to be, but like, yeah, this was written by a 19-year-old. That is all of my notes. It's like, damn, I would have written this a few years ago. For context, I'm 23 right now. So, like, I'm just removed enough from some of these emotions to be like, Lamau, child, but also, like, I still feel it a little bit.
So, you would have written this last year?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It was fun. It was a fun read. It's short. It's neat. It looks good. It's just pen and pencil. There's no coloring. I don't remember much shading either, which is cool. It's flashy. There's a lot of mud. There's a lot of boys getting dirty in the mud. But also, like, even the cover kind of gives you the vibe of, like, what happens when three dudes are stuck in the backwoods with a turned over Jeep in the mud, then they're all depressed and shit. And the book doesn't really do anything with that. There's no, like, and we're gonna sit around and talk about our shit, which I wasn't expecting it to, but like that's kind of the vibe you get off of what. If this was a different writer, you would kind of expect that. If this was written by an adult, it's like, I don't know, even another dude, bro. If this was written by Scott Snyder, I would expect it to be some moderate commentary on like dumb teenage angst or whatever. Even if it was silly and over the top and whatever, this is just like actually childish, which is fun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just definitely less than I was hoping for. I did buy it for $25. It's $10 cover price, which makes me think it's an Image book because Image books are typically published for $10. I bought it off of Amazon, I believe. It was in good condition. It's also on thicker cardstock covers. It's like half an inch shorter and thinner than most trade paperbacks, which is interesting, I guess. It doesn't mean anything. It's just different. So I have no idea why. But neat, fun. It's worth checking out. It's worth a read for sure. I wouldn't pay $25 for it necessarily, but if you see it on like a used book rack somewhere, for sure. If you're interested in like his other books, if you gotta have the complete collection of all of his works, then it's certainly worth money. It's just, don't expect to find like a hidden gem. There was a reason why Punk Rock Jesus was nominated for an Eisner, and this wasn't. There's a pretty big quality disparity between the two. You know what else has a quality disparity?
My balls.
I was going to say the difference in quality of the weld between your balls, my balls, and Collin's balls. Because, there's that seam right up the middle that we have to get welded back together every year.
Yeah.
You have, like, the foreskin trimming, and then you have the ball welding.
Yeah.
And you can tell which one of our welders got paid $35 an hour and which one got paid $15 an hour. That's all I'm saying.
You gotta pay for a good ball welder. You can't go poor quality ball welding. How did we get here?
Our patrons
Oh.
pay good money for us to have our balls welded back together.
Do you think our patrons pay to have their balls welded?
I have no idea. I don't want to know. I'm comfortable not knowing.
All right. There are things that we shouldn't know about. But they do pay to have our balls welded.
Yes. Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence love having our balls welded back together.
Yep. It's important.
I think soon we should have all of our balls welded together like a rat king. You know? You know what that is? It's when a bunch of rats get stuck together by their tails. And then they're just like an amorphous blob of rats. I think we should do it.
I think you have internet brain.
I definitely do. That's a real thing. That's like a natural phenomenon.
Internet brain?
No.
Oh,
Yes, for sure.
that's what I thought.
Squirrels sometimes have it, but chipmunks are genetically predisposed to having it. If you want to help us pay for our ball welds, or anything else for that matter, you can go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network and throw us a few bucks. We'd greatly appreciate it. It helps keep this show on the road, or more like it helps keep Jacob from being on the road like a gay boy.
I make money. I like money.
Hello, I like money.
Silence.
No, I'm just broke.
Brokeback Mountain.
I bought a broke house and now I need to fix it, but that makes me broke instead of the house.
Transference.
Listen, I am trying so very hard. I'm putting in hours of work to make the Dime Comic Bros Network headquarters. An actual recording studio that isn't my living room.
Underground bunker.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm building it. But I need money, and so I go on the road.
Yeah. Oh, but we should just get more patrons.
Okay.
Because then they can pay for it.
Yeah, that would
and
make
then you're
sense.
not on the road.
No, I like that.
And then you can sleep in the studio. We should have hammocks. I think that's what we should do. We should have hammocks like on sailboats, so we can like pull it upright and then like sit in it, and then we can like they're on like a track system on the ceiling. We can move them closer together so we can sit around a microphone, and then we can push them back and then like let it drop so it like lays down. You know?
It is difficult to fuck in a hammock, but not impossible.
Definitely not impossible. Collin would know he has a sex hammock in his gaming room. For gaming purposes, obviously.
Talk about Jetpack now.
Don't be like me and buy books from Jeff Bezos' personal collection. Buy from your local comic shops. Our local comic shop is Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They're a great local place for all of your comics and games and other assorted nerdy interests like figurines, and they probably have Warhammer shit or something. I don't know. I'm not into that virgin shit. I am into the Chad buying Bluey storybooks, which they also have a very large kids selection, to be honest.
Are you implying Henry Cavill Man himself is a virgin?
Yeah, have you seen him? My guy, have you seen the way he put together that PC? He has not seen the touch of a woman.
He is the OG Chad Man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish I was that computer.
Henry Cavill fingering those pieces.
I think that he knows how to professionally paint his Warhammer figurines. I think he puts on a black layer first before he does the colors, so it pops real good. I think he knows what he's doing. Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire.
Yes.
Shop local and stuff. Do good things with your money. And buy comic books, not from Lex Luthor.
Yep.
But you can probably buy them from Nicholas Hoult. I don't think he has that much money. Like, he probably has a good bit because he acts, but I don't think he's, like, balling, you know?
Not yet. Not until he becomes the Lex Luthor.
He will become the Lex Luthor.
Then he'll have a great paycheck.
I think this Lex Luthor might have the power suit, and I think that'll be nice.
That would be great.
That'd be sick. I want to see him in some big boy armor. Just big, ooh, you know? I think that'd be good.
Do you think he'll create a terrible, horrible, scary ginger monstrosity child that ruins the multiverses or whatever?
No, but I do think he's gonna pee into a jar.
Okay. Next week is D&D.
Next week is D&D, and a special New Year's celebration, including Collin, which he will find out when he hears this episode go up on the internet one day before he needs to have arrived at Jacob's domicile to discuss things. He will find out the moment we put him in the car. But we're gonna have a whole thing and a half. We're gonna have a little roundup of all of our good shit from this year. We're gonna drag Collin into it, and yeah, we're gonna roll
Share
some dice
in the Christmas spirits.
Yes, the Christmas spirits, and the sex ban.
There's no hammocks here yet.
Collin will fix that.